Hello guys, welcome back to this edition of Codage Forex Academy video. My name is Williams Eric, and in this video I'll be talking about top-down analysis focusing on liquidity areas majorly. So we're going to be doing liquidity areas, and we're also going to be doing trend lines starting from higher time frame, and we scale down to smaller time frame. Then how do you take trades, especially for entries? Most traders find it difficult to take exact entry position whenever they are trading. They know about the strategy, but they don't know about um, the particular entries for that model. So let's go into this video. Now, in today's video, you can see we'll be using GBP USD, and currently we are on the 1 hour time frame. So let's just zoom out to the daily time frame so you can see what is the overall price action, right? And look at this. We've been bullish, like I said in one of my tutorial. All you just need is, let's say, consecutive of like 7 candles. So this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So previously this is what price has been doing for this week. So if we want to draw this trend line, we would have done that. But let's just zoom out as well. Let's just see the major support and resistance area, because that's what we want to do here. All right, so let's pick up this tool. uh, Support and resistance, most people also know it as order block areas, right? To make it much more easier, say, let's mark this area out right here. Let's zoom out all the way to this point. We have another area of liquidity. Okay, so liquidity built here, another liquidity built, liquidity here, liquidity, and liquidity. Right, you could see price took out the liquidity resting here. And so we don't need all this transaction actually. So we just mark our recent support and resistance, or let me say other block areas. Let's pick this bearish candle. So now let's fine tune our entries. But for that, let's proceed to our 4 hour time frame. Now let's proceed. Now notice other block was gotten from the daily time frame. So you can just fine tune it since you're on a small time frame right here. You can fine tune that to this 4 hours order block, right? So you not consume much data. So these are to fine tune actually. So for those who have been asking me, how do you fine tune your order block or your support and resistance area that you've gotten from higher time frame? So this is exactly how you fine tune. This is actually in line, so we don't need to do much on that. So let's proceed. Now we've highlighted the major support area. Now let's mark the resistance area, because most people be like, I'm not marking the resistance area. Now this is the most recent. Remember, this is the 4 hours time frame. So it is very, very important you understand what you do on each time frame. So we'll mark your resistance as well right here. Your resistance zone right here. So this is our support and this is our resistance. What does resistance means for those who are just coming aboard? Resistance simply means a area in price where price rejected. It also means an area in price where sellers are interested in getting into the market. So whenever you see information like this, right, it means sellers are interested in jumping on this market, on this particular trade right here. And the same thing for the other block, right, which is the your support. Can you see this price rejected of this came back to retest this same zone before pushing forward. The same thing for the resistance, price rejected right here, came back and push downward. So this is just the basic resistance and support, also known as maybe your bearish order block and your bullish order block, so you don't get yourself confused. So the next step is, let's say, our trend lines. Now I told you guys, trend line also hosts liquidity, right? Trend lines host liquidity. We have a lot of liquidity resting on each trend line. So all you just need is one or two touches on that trend line and makes it valid. Now let's take it all the way from this starting point. Yeah. Why do I pick this point as my starting point for the trend line? Now there's a basic rule that says your trend line must start from a source point. Your source point must also start from a support or resistance area. So when you have your resistance area or your support area, that should be your source point for your trend line. Don't just mark any zone of your choice and believe it's just going to hold. Market will not respect that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Market will not respect that. Look at this particular first touches. Can you see right here? But since we are zooming out, let's look out for the recent swing. This is 100% valid. How do I know? To make a trend line valid, all you just need is 2 or 3 touches on that trend line and you're good to go. Look at this. Price approached here and dumped. Can you see? Price approached here and dumped, and can see multiple touches right here. Remember, this is 4 hours time frame, so this is a whole lot of accumulation right here. A whole lot of accumulation right here. It could take a whole day accumulating just like this. So you can see it's respecting the higher time frame trend line. Now, after you're done with this, what is the next thing for you to do? You can easily clone this. Like I said, I prefer cloning my trend line so I can have a channel for me. I'm going to clone this. So you have something like this. Sharp. So you have something like this. Do you get what I'm saying, guys? So this is perfect. This is the major trend, and this is just to make it a channel. So this is very perfect. We have the resistance trend line, and we have the support trend line. Now let's proceed into the 1 hour time frame and see what we can do right here. Now, see, let's say this is our first source point. You can see price rejected from that particular trend. You can see from this trend line, support right here, took out liquidity right here and quickly retraced back into that trend. Now, whenever you see price rejecting back like this, don't just jump on it. Wait for price to retest. Always wait for retest to solidify your entry, so you not just trade blindly. Right? Remember, you're not even taking your trade on the 1 hour time frame. This is 1 hour time frame. I see price rejected as well on that same trend line that we drew earlier on. See price rejecting all of these rejections, right? The price did not close above this trend line. See, before price starts dumping. Now, look at this price approach this trend line. We're expecting price to keep on dipping down. Now, what are the price action that we can see right here for me? Look at this FEG for me right here. It's going to serve as a protection layer over this entry. You can see, so we could just expect price to respect that FEG. We could just fine tune that FEG into smaller time frame so that we can get the best out of it and also minimize our risk. This is 30-minute time frame. It's mentioned in my videos. I don't do trend line lower than the 30-minute time frame. So once I'm done with this trend line, it was because now look at this. If I'm to draw any trend line in this current time frame, if I'm if it is necessary for me to draw trend line, just taking it like this, right? So, but it's not really necessary right here. It's not really making sense, right? So let's proceed. So we can just do this as a protection layer over our trade right here because price could likewise come here and bounce off. So let's fine tune our FHA zone right here. So our entry will be going short from here. Just stop loss just above the FEG or the swing of that particular FEG, and you're going to start at the next zone like this, right? It's pretty easy right here. So, but let's keep on fine tuning our entry. Now this is just basically support and resistance and also trend line. We're not even taking the swing highs or the swing lows for liquidity. I'm going to still do that in the next video, but I'm just focusing majorly on support and resistance on this particular on this particular strategy. Now look at this other block right here. You can fine tune. Like I said, we're just fine tuning. We've gotten our major area of confluence, our POI, our area of interest, whatever you want to call it. Right. So look at this. So if you want to just take profit or want to break even, these are the things you have to always look out for. You could take your take profit right here, or you still take it all the way to the downside, depending on the momentum of the price action. Now see, we're entering right here. So let's see other rejections and see whether we got the FEG. One of my best confirmation for entries is FEG. The reason why, because FEG helps me to confirm if institutional buyers are involved, right? If institutions are involved in my entry. Now look at this. Price takes out liquidity that is resting on the trend line. And after that liquidity, what do we get? An FEG. And then after the FEG, you could see we ran down. Look at this. Price rejected the trend line, gave us a displacement right here, a displacement candle, a momentum candle, and afterwards see displacement, right? All of that. Can you see? Price took out liquidity, gave us a kind of FEG right here, displaced to the downside. Took out this trend line, FEG, displaced. Took out this again, FEG, displayed down to the downside. Okay, right? So any other price, let's check for the other buyers. Look at this. Let's check for the buys and let's see if we got the same reaction. Look at this opening gap right here. Beautiful. Look at this FEG as well. This is 15-minute time frame. If you scale down to 5 minutes, you'd have seen this much more clearer. This is another FEG after price rejected at this trend line. So these are your confluences for entries, right? If you scale down to the 5 minute time frame, let's scale down to 5. You see that we are no longer drawing any trend line or any support area again. So this is, it might take time for you to get your entries right, but it is still better than to take losing trades, right? To be taking random trades. So if this is 5 minute time frame, you can fine tune the FEG zone. The essence of this is for us to minimize our risk. You can leave take it all the way here, or you can leave it all the way here. This is where the volume is resting. So for people who prefer the close of the candle, or those that prefer the wick, whatever choice you want to make, just make sure that the FEG is valid. Now look at this rejection on that same trend line that we already drew. Right, look at this FEG formed right here. Got another FEG forming at this point. Look at that spike up after liquidity has been taken. Look at this. Look at this hammer candlestick pattern. Very this candlestick pattern right here. Hammer candlestick pattern. So for those who does not understand how it looks like, this is hammer candlestick pattern. After taking out liquidity, see FEG formed and boom to the upside. And let's check previous trades. Let's look out for that FEG. So this is internal trend line, right? This is just the internal. It's not the major trend line. We got this trend line from the 30-minute time frame. So this is the major trend line. You can indicate that by making it thicker. You can increase the thickness so you can understand the concept behind it, so you not be trading blind. Look at this rejection, rejection in the zone, liquidity sweep, FEG right here, FEG here as well. So the funnest thing about trading this strategy is once you've marked out your area of confluence is your trend line and support and resistance. You can enjoy that trend for the rest of that week. Right? You can enjoy that trend for the rest of the week. So this is just it. Your entry is always after the FEG, and you target the 1 to 2 weeks toward the show, or you target the next liquidity area, so which is this zone right here. So we're still going to check if price actually got to this liquidity area that is resting right here. So let's take an example. If we're to take this trade, stop loss just above the FEG or the swing of the FEG, either ways that you prefer. So target all the way to the liquidity level. Yeah, so you can break even right here. So, you break even here for our first TP. Look at that. Price took out here because we're using very, very tight stop loss. So if we had to take the swing, which is this point here, as the stop loss, which is shake the trend line. So at this point, price finally came to hit the profit, full take profit. So you just have to calculate your stop losses very, very well according to your risk appetite. My risk appetite is different from your risk appetite, so you need to put that into consideration. So this is a 5 minute time frame, and we are done. So let's proceed. Let's see if we can make out something reasonable right here. I believe we are fine tuned. Okay, this is the 5 minutes. So if you want to fine tune, say if you are interested in fine tuning this tomorrow, so you not get huge gap, right? Not just get a huge gap. Wait for price to trace back onto this FEG and we expect price to sell. Right, so this is just the basic. This trend line, remember, we got it from the 30-minute time frame. You can see price rejected all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way. See, if you had wanted to use this, it's invalidated. Look at this price action right here. So, 5 minute time frame. Remember, we still have the overall support and resistance, which is this zone and this zone. We've gone behind that. So this is our major trend line. If we're taking that out to respect, once price gets back to this trend line, can you see it is in alignment with the demand order block that is here? It's in alignment with it. See, price will reject off that zone. So this is what we're expecting price to do. Price should continue moving all the way up here, give us reaction, comes back to fill up the FEG again, dump right here, could give us a reaction, breakouts, retests, and dump all this way. So potentially could see price acting up this way in this coming week. Right, you could see price potentially coming all the way here this particular week. So this is just trend line using support order block or your support and resistance and your entries. Confirm it with FEG. Always confirm with FEG before you take your trades. Right? Always confirm with FEGs before you execute your trades. Right? So we're expecting this in this coming week. your stop loss at the swing of that FEG or just a little bit above the FEG, depending on your risk appetite. So you have something like this. So you can take a screenshot or save this video for next time so you could understand how this works. So in the next video or after this video, I'll be using liquidity concepts, purely liquidity concepts without any other conferences, purely liquidity concept, FEGs, market structure for the full comprehensive liquidity strategy in our next video. So this is just the basic of understanding how trendline works from higher time frame and your other blocks from higher time frame as well. So this is just the basic 101 for this particular strategy. What are for the next videos? So I'll be doing more of this strategy breakdown for us.